What's up, guys? My name is unCAGEDgamez. Welcome back. Yes, back to another video. Today, I'm going to be doing something a little different. I don't usually do movie or TV show reviews unless they're really bad, as you can see from past videos. But today, I want to give my thoughts and review on the brand new Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, or Ant-Man 3, because there's been a lot of talks about this movie, people hating it, people liking it, and I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the movie. So sit back and enjoy my non-spoiler review at the beginning of this video, and then I'll give you guys a giant warning when I talk about spoilers about the movie in the second half of this video. So let's just jump into the non-spoilers and talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, baby! My non-spoilers is short and sweet. Do I like the movie? Yes. I thought the movie was a fun ride and a great start to Phase 5 of the MCU. The critics have been slamming this movie, and on Rotten Tomatoes, they gave it like a 40-something, which is insane to me because I did not think it was bad. I thought it was one of Marvel's better movies in recent times. So I don't know if I watched a different movie or they were watching with blindfolds on, but Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania is not as bad as these critics are making it out to be. The CGI, I see some people talking about being really bad in the movie. Again, I don't know if I was watching a different movie, but the CGI, I didn't really notice it being that bad. There wasn't CGI that was so bad that it took me out of the movie. Overall, I thought the CGI looked really good, especially when they took us to this brand new like quantum realm world, and everything looked pretty sweet to me. Again, nothing really jarring that it was like, oh my god, that's awful CGI. There is one really bad CGI character, and if you watch the movie, you know who I'm talking about. I'll talk about more about that later. That was the only bad CGI I noticed. CGI wasn't a real deal breaker for me in this movie. I have watched all the Marvel movies. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania did not have the worst CGI I've seen. Obviously, the performance from the actors, Paul Rudd kills it as Ant-Man once again, but I think the standout performance was Jonathan Majors as Kang. Dude, every time he was on screen, I was like, okay, what is the man gonna do? What is he gonna do to the Ant family? He doesn't even have to yell. Like, him talking in his like normal calm voice was menacing enough, which is awesome. I know Marvel has had its track record of bad and forgettable villains, but as of recent, their villain game has been pretty solid, and Kang is no exception. With the Marvel movies, we know that there is always that hint of comedy in the movies. You know, there's action, there's the spectacle, and then there's the comedy, right? Ant-Man 3 is no exception. It does have comedy, but I would say the comedy in this movie works. It wasn't too forced. There are some jokes that, you know, didn't land as strong, but a majority of the jokes worked, and I liked it. I found laughing or chuckling at a majority of the jokes they did make. And that's pretty much it. That's my non-spoiler review. Overall, the movie was a fun ride, and you guys that like the MCU or just like comic book movies, like Ant-Man, like Paul Rudd, you're gonna have a good time. This is a good start to Phase 5. One of Marvel's better movies. Definitely not worth the 48% that Rotten Tomatoes was giving it. They're drunk. If I had to give Ant-Man 3 a scale of 1 to 10, 10 meaning the best, 1 meaning it sucks, I would give the movie like a 7.58. I think overall, again, wasn't the best movie ever, but definitely wasn't the worst. People are describing this movie, and I can agree with them, is Ant-Man 3 is like Mad Max combined with Star Wars. So take that as what you will. Now with that out of the way, let's talk about spoilers, because man, oh man, do I got some things to talk about. All right, this is your final warning. 3, 2, 1. I'm talking about spoilers now. Ant-Man 3 is, it actually set up the big threat for the next like phase, or the next like chapters of the MCU. Phase 4 had like 1 or 2 things that teased at the bigger picture, but that's 2 things out of like 15 properties that got released in Phase 4. How did we only get 2 things that moved the big story forward? Ant-Man Quantumania is the start of Phase 5, and it actually started. Ant-Man 3 gave us Kang and teased us on what the future of Kang has in store for us, and it is hype. That should have been teased so long ago. Now, I know some of you guys might be saying, Cage, Loki season 1 teased Kang. He was in there. Yes, Kang variant was in Loki, but honestly, that didn't really like that show was awesome. Loki's one of my favorite Disney Plus Marvel shows, but that the Kang variant in that, like whatever happened, no spoilers in Loki, but what happened in Loki, I don't really saw the effect happen in the Marvel bigger picture. Like, did anything really happen that big in like Ant-Man 3 that you had to watch Loki to notice? I didn't really think so. That was a long explanation, but that was me saying I liked how Ant-Man 3 sets up the bigger picture. So I talked about CGI in the non-spoiler reviews, but let's talk about the big CGI elephant in the room. The worst CGI in the movie that I noticed, MODOK. I'm gonna blow your minds here, and I might be in the minority. I loved MODOK in this movie. MODOK having the worst CGI ever was the funniest thing I have ever seen. How good can the CGI make a character where they have short limbs and a giant head? How can they make that serious? So I think they played up how bad he looked, and the bad CGI was just the cherry on top of how funny the character was. I am now more of a MODOK fan because of this movie. Every time, I swear to you, every time MODOK showed up on the screen, I was already smiling. Never thought I would say it, but MODOK is one of my favorite characters in the MCU now, and he's an Avenger. He's now an Avenger. So anyways, MODOK CGI was awful, but that was it. I see people that haven't watched Ant-Man 3 saying, oh my god, the CGI in this movie is so trash, and they put the image, like they put the image of MODOK. Dude, that is the only CGI that I noticed that was bad. Everything else looked beautiful. Like, we're in a brand new realm. We're in the quantum realm. What do you expect? Like, it's not real. So for something that's not real, they made it look pretty real to me. I think they're just being overcritical about MODOK. But MODOK is a giant head with short limbs. You're not gonna make that look cool, all right? It didn't work in Shark Boy and Lava Girl. It's not gonna work in this, but it was awesome, all right? I love MODOK. Man, I can't believe I talked that long about MODOK, but he was awesome. Okay, now that I gushed about that, and let's talk about the bad, okay? I think we need to bring this this hypeness down a little bit and talk about what didn't work in this movie for me. The story of Ant-Man 3 isn't the deepest story ever. It's really simple. Long story short, the Ant family gets like trapped or sent to the quantum realm, and then they gotta find a way home, and then Kang is there to attack them, more or less. That's pretty much like the Cliff Notes version of the story. It's not deep. So if you're going into the movie for some rich enlightenment of knowledge of cinematic masterpiece, you're not gonna get it. You're just gonna get a fun action-filled adventure. That's it. The next thing I wasn't really like loving was, how did Cassie learn about the quantum realm and quantum technology so quick? From what I gathered, she built this quantum tech all from hearing Hank talk about it and reading Hank's books. So because of that, she now knows so much about the quantum realm, and she built this like GPS thing for the quantum realm. Hank didn't build something like that to find his wife. Hope didn't build that. Scott didn't build that. But Cassie, the youngest of the Ant family, built that from hearing it from Hank. That blows my mind. That one, I was like, okay, I guess. Speaking of characters here, Hope. I liked Hope in the previous Ant-Man movies. I think her character's cool. She really got sidelined in this movie. In the previous Ant-Man movies, she was like right there with Ant-Man, right? In this movie, she was just background. Like, Cassie took up the secondary mantle spot in this film as one of the good guys. Ant-Man had the story of him trying to find his daughter and then trying to do what Kang told him to do. Hope pretty much was the third wheel to her parents. So she was just there. I wish they had more for her to do. The next thing I really didn't like or wanted more of is Ant-Man fighting Kang. Now in the trailer you see Kang like beating up on Ant-Man, like stomping on his helmet, which was awesome, but I wanted more of a fight between the two. We really only got them punching each other for like 5 seconds, and that's it. Like, Kang didn't unleash his like full power on Ant-Man. Ant-Man really didn't like grow or shrink and do all those cool maneuvers on Kang. There was that one scene where the Ant family was fighting Kang, but that was very short-lived as well. So I would have liked a bigger battle between the two, like one-on-one. The big action battle really came from the whole quantum world, quantum people war. Now, this is where I wouldn't say I hated, but I didn't really care too much about, and that is like the Avengers level war that happened at the end of Ant-Man 3. Like, all the quantum people and a bunch of ants were fighting off against Kang's army. Not every Marvel movie needs to have an epic war scene. One of the things I loved about the Ant-Man movies is, for the most part, it's pretty grounded. Like, the first one is just like a heist movie, right? And the first Ant-Man is still one of my favorite Marvel movies of all times. It might be in my top 5. And the second one was all right. So it changed up from being a grounded like superhero to this Star Wars epic adventure. I could have been cool without that, but I get it. They want to hype it up. Kang is here. He's bringing his army. So I understand. So I will say Ant-Man 3 lost a little bit of that charm of being a grounded superhero to an extent. Again, it's a guy that shrinks and grows, so it's not too grounded, but you know what I mean. I liked the lower scale story battles of Ant-Man, and this one was, pun intended again, a little bit too big of a battle at the end there. And probably one of the biggest disappointments I had about the movie is no Michael Pena. Where's Luis? I loved Luis in the first 2 Ant-Man movies, and I thought he was gonna be in this one, but I didn't see him in the trailers. Yeah, Luis was not in this movie, which was kind of a bummer. I really liked this character. I thought he was really funny. And yeah, he's not mentioned at all, I don't think. And he was just not there at all. But let's talk about these 2 after credit scenes here. So the mid-credit scene is pretty awesome. It shows a bunch of Kang variants gathered up in like a coliseum, ready to start their attack on the multiverse or whatever they're planning. They're pretty much ready to start their attack now that the one Kang that Ant-Man killed is gone. As you know, in the other movies, in like the earlier MCU movies, when Thanos showed up, he's like, oh, I'm gonna do this myself. Like, the chair spinning around, you see Thanos' face. Like, we're like, oh snap, that's what we're working towards. Phase 4, we didn't really have that. We had a little bit, just a little bit. Phase 5, the start, we finally get that, oh, he's the big threat. This is what we're going towards officially. So I'm really excited about that. I love Jonathan Majors as Kang, and now we get so many more Kangs. I'm all for it. And then the second after credit scene is, I believe, a clip from Loki season 2 where it shows them in the olden times, and we see another Kang variant on stage presenting something about, I think, maybe time travel. I don't remember exactly what he said, but then you see Loki in the crowd saying, oh, that's him, that's Kang. That's pretty sick. I loved Loki season 1, and I'm excited to see season 2. Jonathan Majors is living his best life right now. He's in Creed 3, which is coming out soon. He's in Ant-Man 3. He's gonna be in Loki season 2. Like, he's killing it right now. This is why I don't do movie reviews, because I just feel like I ramble on, but this is how I get my thoughts across for things I like and things I don't like. So overall, Ant-Man 3 is a fun ride. It's not a masterpiece. It's not the worst movie ever. And don't let critics or reviews change your thoughts and opinions on if you want to watch a movie or not. I say, if you have time and you like a character or you like an actor, go watch the movie. You know, support the movie. Don't let Rotten Tomato scores be the end all be all on if a movie is good or bad, because I want to let you guys know now, I don't usually use or look at Rotten Tomatoes because I don't trust their ratings. I don't care. I like to go into the movie and make my own opinion on things. If you look at the critic score on Antman and the Wasp: Quantumania on Rotten Tomatoes, they gave the movie a 48%. And then the audience, us people, gave it like an 80-something. So there's a huge difference there. Now, if you also look at the Eternals movie, the critics gave it a 47% and the audience gave it a 77%. So you're telling me that Ant-Man 3 is almost as bad as Eternals? I watched Eternals. That might be one of my most hated Marvel movies because it was so boring. But Ant-Man 3 is leaps above Eternals. So having them that close of score just doesn't make any sense. The freaking nail on the coffin and why Rotten Tomatoes should not be your final decision maker on if you watch a movie or not. The critics gave Thor: Love and Thunder a 64% and Ant-Man 3 48%. You're telling me that the critics think Thor: Love and Thunder is a better movie than Ant-Man 3? What movie am I watching that Thor is better than Ant-Man 3? You can see here the audience score for Thor: Love and Thunder is 77% as well. So out of the 3 movies, Ant-Man has the highest audience score out of the 3, but second lowest from the critics. This is why critics score on Rotten Tomatoes mean absolutely crap. To end off this review, I'm gonna leave you guys with this one critic review that I saw on Rotten Tomatoes about Ant-Man 3 that made me laugh. They said, the worst Marvel movie yet. Really? The worst Marvel movie yet? Are we not remembering Thor: Love and Thunder? But I hope you guys enjoyed my review on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I don't do reviews like much, so forgive me if this review is all over the place. So if you guys want to see some more reviews and thoughts on future Marvel or DC movies or shows, drop a thumbs up and I'll try to do it if you guys want to see it. I really enjoyed doing this. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you guys did, subscribe to the channel if you guys are brand new, ring the bell icon so you guys get notified every time we upload a brand new video. My name is unCAGEDgamez and you just got caged.
So we found the Toys R Us, baby. A lot smaller than what I remembered, but you know what? I'm gonna take a look. Copyright music, so I'm gonna try to talk as loud as I can here. Ooh, some Marvel.